Hello everyone. Today I will talk about the performativity of gender by Judith Butler. And first I would like to start with his quote. Say that gender is performative is a little different because for something to be performative means that it produces a series of effects. We act and walk and speak and talk in ways that consolidate an impression of being a man or being a woman. First, I would like to give information about her. She was born on February 24, 1956, and she was an American philosopher. Butler was born in Ohio and went to Hebrew School. She studied at Bennington College. In 1919, she wrote her famous book Gender Trouble, and in this book, Butler talks about the theory of gender performativity. First, I would like to give information about the meaning of performativity. It means that this is an act or behavior which creates the very things they describe. So actually, this means that the way a person behaves or acts. For Butler, gender is neither essential nor biologically determined. She was believing that gender is not something that is determined biologically. So biology have nothing to do has nothing to do with the gender, and the most important thing is its performativity. So actually, we are creating our own performance by actually acting our gender. Sorry. And the idea of gender is an act or performance, and we are actually creating this act by walking, talking, dressing, and behaving. Actually, all our behaviors that we are doing on a daily basis contribute to this act of gender performativity. And the society is very important factor in this situation because actually we are behaving on what we are behaving on the expectations of our society. What society regards as a person's gender is just a performance made to please social expectations. It means that all those social expectations have huge impact on person's gender, and we are actually behaving based on those expectations. Actually, this is not our identity. Our identity could be much different, but actually the way we are acting is based on our gender's expectations from the society. Gender performativity is a theory that gender and gender roles are elaborate social performances, and actually we are performing this on a daily basis, not just only one day in our life or maybe a period in our life, but during whole period of our life, we actually perform our gender and act based on this. And we can also say that if we divide people into men and women, then we can say that men usually act as masculine. So actually their behavior is masculine behavior, and because social expectations are based on this, and women actually behaves in a way that contributes to the femininity characteristic of their gender. Yes, in this regard, we can say that the most important concept in performativity of gender is repetition. Actually, we are doing all this because we are actually repeating this behavior many times. As we repeat this behavior, so actually it becomes a part of our lifestyle, and that's why we become actually performing our gender. For example, we dress in certain ways during our life, or go to the gym and use a particular body language and other things. And through these repetitions, all these things actually become a very particular and important part of our life, and we cannot escape from all these characteristics that are embedded to our gender. And now I would like to give some examples about the performativity of gender. First, I would like to give an example of a masculine handshake. Actually, we could think of now about two males who are meeting in a way that, and in each time they are meeting, they are having a very firm handshake. The way they are meeting with each other, it is not a real choice for them, but it is an obligation or pressure that is coming from the previous actions. In the past, actually, they have met and have had a very strong handshake so many times that they are actually performing this many times. So for this reason, it becomes a part of their gender, and they are performing their gender each time they meet. And I can also give this example in case of women as well. When a woman lets her partner, a man, to drive her car. So in this case, the man feels like more feminine, masculine, and the woman feels more like a feminine. Actually, this is not the situation in which and she acts like this as she's a woman, but actually she is doing this in order to perform their gender and be a woman. So there's a question, does she do this because she's a woman, or does the act itself contribute to making her? So of course, the act itself contributes her being and feeling more feminine. Actually, we can give examples from the daily life as well, that many people around us, for example, women usually use many accessories or dresses in certain ways that actually outside you can easily see that she's a woman. So all these things they are doing, they are definitely doing it in order to feel feminine and perform their gender. Um, as I said, in the short run, it's not really possible to change our gender and the norms. However, in the long run, we can definitely change them. This is really a possibility because how we can do that? We can only do this in the long term. And if we are trying to stop our doing certain behaviors and get rid of them, for example, if we stop having a firm handshake with other men as a man, then in this way we forget about this practice, and this does not become a part of our gender, so we no longer have such a habit. So it really is possible to change our gender and norms in the long run. However, it's really difficult because our social expectations put us a very big barrier. However, it's really difficult but also possible to overcome these barriers. And I would like to speak about the benefits of gender performativity. First of all, gender performativity creates a bridge between individuals and social structures. So actually, the way how people behave and what they are doing, all these things actually need to be understood, right? We need to understand human behavior. And actually, gender performativity exactly does this, helps us to understand why people behave in certain ways in different situations and structures. And it is really important to understand the human behavior with the help of gender performativity. And also performativity helps us explain why people actually behave based on the norms, actually how all these social expectations and norms affect us, and why and how they force us to behave in certain ways in different situations. Performativity also provides an explanation for how identities form. So all the things that we are doing and practicing on a daily basis become our identity, and how all these identities maintained by everyday behaviors. Every day we are doing all these things again and again, and it becomes a part of our identity. We can also use performativity to understand how we are animated like puppets by social norms. So it means that social norms actually force us and dictate us to behave in certain ways, and we somehow become a slave for, say, social norms, and we act based on the expectations of society. So, and all these social expectations, we have no contribution and have done nothing to create and develop all these norms. However, we are still behaving based on these norms. So this is really something not usual, but actually, when thinking about this, it's not something usual, but we are doing, and experiencing this so many times in daily lives that it really becomes something very normal for us. With performativity, we can begin to realize that gender is far too simple a construct to account for who we are, and that we need not imitate norms in order to matter. So in order to have a life in this life, in order to be a part of this world, we do not need actually to imitate and obey those norms in order to live in this world. So actually, in this way, we could also criticize our gender performativity, because gender performativity is what actually dictates us what gender is and how actual language works, and actually it is against the biology and essentialism concept of human behavior. So it actually says that nothing is determined by our biology and everything is determined based on the social expectations. Actually, for this belief, most people do not agree with this opinion, because some people believe that our identity and behavior is definitely directed by our biology, as this concept definitely rejects all the assumptions about this. So most people usually do not agree on these points. And also they criticize Butler for writing too difficult in her textbook. So for this reason, it is not liked by some people, but the popularity of their work really shows that this is something meaningful and actually could be considered an valuable textbook for us to read. But not all the things that have been written there should be accepted as a rule, because life does not allow all these things to happen at the same time. This is all from me for today, and thank you so much for listening.